So certainly one of the biggest challenges about putting fibre out in the quantity and the amount that's needed in the UK to support 5G and actually upgrading the 4G capacity networks is the cost. It's cost and time and disruption. And those are the three things that we have to really think about when we're deploying fibre network. Cost is prohibitive when you factor in the time it would take to actually dig in new fibre network. And then, of course, disruption to the citizens, especially in the urban areas where that fibre is being deployed, is tremendous. So those are the three biggest challenges. How do we overcome those? I think regulation is starting to fall on the side of the fibre suppliers in that it's enabling access to existing duct infrastructure, where BT, of course, goes everywhere. And so when we can have access to that, it's a lot cheaper to deploy, but also a lot quicker, and of course far more disruptive. We're not digging up the streets. At SSE Telecoms, we're also using utility infrastructure. So we've run a massive deployment with Mobile Network Operators 3 and O2 to deploy fibre through the sewers, for the sewer network. And that has been a significantly quick deployment once all the design and permissions work was done. The actual deployment itself, with out of a 132 kilometre fibre ring, you've only got 10 kilometres of actual traditional dig above ground to make that network work. So that sort of thing is truly the way that we should go about things. Regulation and using existing infrastructure with BT and utility infrastructure. So obviously, if we are looking at traditional way of deploying fibre, the governments, especially local city councils, need to try and make it a lot easier and a lot more cost effective for us to gain traffic management permits, for example, to enable us to then start digging to lay the fibre cables. But also we need support with landlords and way leave rights. Code Powers has significantly helped, but we need more support on that, and especially in London it's very challenging to get way leave permissions to go into buildings with the dark fibre to then enable the 5G at the top of the building on the RAN architecture there. So that's where the government can help. I think the DCMS have provided funding for fibre build as well, but it's quite an application process to go through to get to that funding. The funding has now also been moved from actually in the urban and the dense urban areas to rural only, and so therefore you've still got this kind of the greater urban areas still have challenges therefore with cost to deploy the fibre. Let's look at it in two ways. Let's think about the mobile network operators are investing a significant amount of money to transform their networks to enable 5G. And where's the return for them on that investment? Because actually they can't put their data prices up. You and I as the consumer wouldn't tolerate that. So we're not paying a premium for having 5G data speeds on our own telephones. So for them, I think it's quite difficult to look at where's their return on investment. They're having to move into new markets, for example, maybe attacking the home broadband market, going into that using 5G instead of the fixed infrastructure to the home, or looking at how they can really support applications that are going to run over the IoT and smart cities network, and maybe trying to do that. So I think that's one way of looking at it. But when we look at the use cases for ourselves and how we're going to benefit from 5G, it will fundamentally change the way that we go about our daily lives. And as I said on the panel just now, one of the best use cases I think for me for 5G is how it's social care, childcare, rural care for those who don't get access to people can't get to them all the time, and that social care is really important, and 5G will really enable real-time social care for people who are in rural communities or just simply isolated, and also the support for children in terms of surgery and the way that we could use augmented reality and virtual reality for surgeons to perform operations on children who are very far away, who can't get to them, is phenomenal in my view.